Good afternoon, programs, people, everybody. Hello. This is Raymond Camden coming back to you again for another episode of Code Break, episode something or another, 20 something. Doesn't matter. I'm still here. I'm still alive. Currently, a couple weeks into my new job, which has been awesome and also incredibly busy. So if I seem a little bit scatterbrained uh, about what I'm showing today, it's because I haven't thought about what we did last time since the last stream. But that's okay. I mean, y'all are probably pretty used to me being a little bit scatterbrained anyway. It is officially summer. And the best thing that I can say about it being officially summer is that summer is already shorter, which is great because I absolutely hate summer. I don't like the heat. I don't like all the light. I just want to kind of shrivel up and go under my blanket and wake up when it's fall, which unfortunately in Louisiana is still pretty darn hot. But you know, at least every day going forward is going to have less sunlight, which means less heat. I think I've mentioned before that my wife and I have plans to haul butt out of Louisiana and go as north as we can once the kids are older. And what I do, and I guess you can see here, it's my weather app. It's currently 88 here. Feels like 98, which is not bad, which is sad. But at some point, I added Bellingham, Washington to my weather app just because that's a city we'd like to consider. I love the Pacific Northwest. And to torture myself in summer, like now, I will look at the weather. And right now, it is a balmy 64 degrees in Washington in summer and feels like 64. I mean, that's just, yeah. So, hate summer, hate it. Can't wait till it's done. Can't wait till that we live much more north and have better weather. And of course, every year as it gets hotter, I have to keep kind of pushing up more and more higher where we're going to live. We're going to end up on the North Pole eventually. But that's neither here nor there. Instead, let's talk about what we're going to be doing in this stream. And as Scott said, 94, I'm going to say the state you live in. You have like 10 seconds to stop me, but he's in West by God, Virginia. I'm actually shocked that they're warmer here, 6 degrees, but still, yeah, God, heat is just bad. The whole sun needs to go away. But put me in a ice box forever, and that will be fine. 92 in Canada. Mark, if you feel comfortable, are you in the south of Canada? I know I believe like most of the bigger cities are closer to like the American border and stuff like that. But I'm kind of curious if you're South Canada versus North, and I blown away that y'all are hotter than Louisiana. I will say I think we have weather coming in, and that typically will knock things down a couple. Yes, actually, we have thunderstorms on the way. So there you go. That kind of explains why we're winning by being only 80. Toronto. Okay, cool. Well, sorry. I honestly did not expect to win the temperature war here in Louisiana, but it is what it is. So let's talk about what we're doing in this stream. So last 3 streams have been about building desktop apps. I am primarily a web person, and I love the web, and I don't really see a need for most desktop applications. I do like PWAs that you can install via the web, and I like sometimes having that separation. Like my main chat is Google Chat, and that's PWA, but I separate it, so it's a separate app, which mental cognitive wise makes it great to all have stuff. I also have like a work web browser. That way, they're again kind of mentally grouped. But yeah, that being said, like I explained in the first session, 3 sessions ago, as a developer, when I was kind of growing up, building desktop apps, like that's all there was. And so that was kind of like my dream. So I've have been enjoying over the last couple of streams building desktop applications in different technologies. The first 2 streams, and you could see it on my YouTube channel or on the Certified Fresh Events site as well. I was using Node.js/TypeScript with Tori to build a desktop application, and that was okay. It also used Rust. I should not have said Node.js. Rust on the back end with TypeScript, JavaScript on the front end. That was okay. I didn't mind that too much, and especially the UI being all web-based, that made it kind of trivial. Last session, we have been using Flet, and I'm gonna shift y'all over here to the side, and then show. There we go. No, not that. Where's the view I want? There's the view I want, and I won't be all the way over there all the time, I promise. So Flet is a Python-based one using Flutter for its builds. Really, really like Python a lot. And this was pretty fun because all the UI, let's get into the getting started here. This can show you some example code we know how to run. Everything in Flet is using controls, so there's no HTML at all. It's all about controls. So, for example, you have a layout control that can be horizontal, vertical, whatever, and you have controls for your components, so your text and your inputs, whatever. So, I'm not able to bring any of my existing HTML knowledge at all, which is all right. But the UI or the API to work with this is pleasant. Like I learned it while I was streaming last session, and we had something built. And let me actually run it, and then we will show. Let run. And by the way, like last time, I'm using PowerShell because I'm on Windows, and because it builds desktop apps a lot quicker. I can use Ubuntu via Windows subsystem for Linux, but the build tends to be a bit slower, kind of going through that virtualization or whatever. I don't care. The Python code stays the same, and if it runs quicker and I get a Windows application, I'm fine. But this is what we built last time. So we had a date picker, and I can just go in here, pick a date. We had a gender dropdown, and we had a button to show the dev clock. If you don't remember, the dev clock is a site I built a very, very, very long time ago. I sold it a long time ago as well, where you enter your date of birth and your gender, and it says, okay, you are 52 years old, let's say, and the average lifespan for a man is like 72. So given that, and given that we know what today is, we can figure out how long you have left to live and render it in seconds. Not scientific in any way at all, but fun. It was an insanely popular website back in the day. Back when they used to have internet magazines, like you would go to Barnes and Noble, Walden Books, whatever, and get like a net magazine and would have cool websites, and you would type in the URLs back home. Back when they had that, Dev Clock used to be in them all the time. But yeah, so it's just kind of a fun little thing to build, and that's what I'm doing. And this is where we got last time, where we were at the point where we could show the actual seconds, but I hadn't got that done yet. But let's look at the code, because let me make this a bit smaller and let me make the text bigger. I always wait for Scott approval. If Scott does not complain about the font size, then I know it's okay. But the entire application is one file, and certainly it could be more complex. I used the kind of skeleton template to get started. You can see I have some of that still commented out. And I built it let's go top to bottom here so you can see what's going on. So there's a main method that gets executed when you run Flet, and that's what's rendering this right here. And I have a few event handlers. We'll scroll past that and actually get to the UI where I just kind of did it left to right. So I built a label field, which is a text field, and I said enter your date of birth. I then made a DOB button, which was an elevated button. I think they have a regular button as well. I don't remember. I was copying and pasting, etc. Um, I specified a icon for the for a calendar, and then basically said on click. And this was all stuff I got from the docs. Uh, Open or create a new date picker. All right. So I did not want to set it to today. I wanted to set it to a time in 1900. If you were born before 1900, congratulations, but you're not supported. And then I had two event handlers, which I will now go back up to the top. Handle dismissal. I could do something there. I'm not. I'm just keeping it there because I don't know. But when you do pick a date, I actually copy that into a variable called DOB. Uh, Going down, I have my gender dropdown, which is made out of two options. I do remember this was a bit cumbersome. Like, I remember thinking, why can't I just have two strings for options for like a simple dropdown? This part feels very, very verbose, but I can get over it. It wasn't that big of a deal. And then my final thing in my UI was the do it button where it will actually show the death clock. So I had one more field. That is where it's going to render how many seconds you have left to live, but it's invisible, so you don't see it by default. And then I laid out my content. So again, I mentioned that Flet has this kind of like component-based layout system. You can see right here, I add to the page a row, and I passed all those UI items, and then I did a second row just for the seconds. And we're going to eventually need to make that probably a little bigger, etc. I'm not going to worry about that. When you click calculate DC, I need to do some logic here. But what I did was I made the field visible and then I modified it. And something we learned about last time is that when you do update the UI elements, at least sometimes you need to run page.update for it to show. I believe that will only be necessary if I'm showing and hiding UI controls, not if I'm changing the value, I believe, but we'll see in a second. So I made it just change to a hard-coded value. I actually need to use a real value. And I did this morning a quick test because I don't really know the date time Python library terribly well. But it turns out it is like stupid easy to do math logic in Python, which is no big surprise. Again, I know I keep saying this. I love Python. But so literally to get today and then to get like a birthday hard coded, to get the difference, you can subtract one from the other, and that difference object has a total seconds. Like that's it. So our logic, and let's actually write this out a bit, right? So uh uh I'm having a brain fart. Yes, so figure out today, and that today is going to be, we just copy this like that. All right. Make a DT object for your B day. And so I copied that as a string. So I need to parse that. I wonder if E control, actually, I don't even know if that could be a datetime object because we're running the code I got from the docs, did string formatting on it. I bet that value is fine. So we're just going to use DOB. So I'm not going to make a new object for it, but the difference will be now minus DOB. And just for the heck of it, let's print to the console, and that does work. Print diff is diff, and this should be the number of seconds. And well, that won't be the value, because basically what I'm saying is if I am 100 seconds, if I'm 100 seconds old today, for men and women, we're going to have a max number of seconds, and we're just going to subtract from that. So, thank you, big task at hand. I like your username. Yes, Python is an excellent language to learn. I'm a huge fan of that. All right, so let's just make sure this part is working. Flet does have hot reload, and got too many windows here, but let's see what happens. I will pick 1973, and I'm just going to pick a date. It's April 8th, but I'll pick June 1st. Hit show dev clock, and I thought it was hot reloading. Flet run. Oh, yeah, it helps if I save the file. That's a pro dev tool, right? Dev suggestion right there. So let's do this again, and I'm just going to pick a random date, hit mail, show dev clock, and boom. All right, so, unsupported operand types for date, time, and string. So that means the value is not a date, but it is a string. So the question is, let's look at, where is it, the date picker in the docs, and see, maybe it has a method for getting a date object from it. So here we go. Here's the date picker. Depending on, it will show a calendar or an input. There we go. Basic date picker. Okay, so far so good. Here's the properties. And first date, last date, value. Yep. All right. So are you going to tell me eData also it has to change the value? So it's interesting that they don't necessarily have a method to return a date time object, but let's do this. First, let's print it. I just want to see it. So we will print DOB, and like I said, it automatically reloaded. I'm just going to pick a random date, and where's my print? Future exception was never retrieved. That's fine. You did never show the actual print. So let's get rid of this, because this is working things, and see if it came back. I'm just going to pick one date. Oops. At some point, I need to actually show that. And it's not really, I wonder if it had one error and it was like, I give up. So we'll kill it, and we'll reload it. And that was very fast. Let's pick a date and hit show dev clock, and oh, it has no value. Interesting. I would have thought, I bet you I have a scope. Yeah, you know what? This should be probably self or something. That brings up a good question. Why can't I copy this out? So if we print DOB here, I think the issue is that this is creating a local variable in the method and not referencing the higher level one. But you know what? I don't really need to do that if I can just access the field directly, which, that's going to be an issue, right? Because This is, I believe, creating a new date picker on each time. So, all right, we need some way to copy this out to a variable that I can use. And now I am revealing some of my lack of Python knowledge. All right, so let's try this again. Okay. And yeah, it definitely got the thing there, and it loses DOB. So my question then is, how do I reference a value? And let's try to minimize this a little bit. How do I reference a value from within my handler that I am defining at the top level function scope? So let's, for the heck of it, let's ask AI. Access parent function scope and child function in Python, because AI is never wrong. Let's see. Yeah, automatically has access to variables defined in its parent scope. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought would work. Print. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen. So maybe I'm doing something else wrong. Uh, yeah, I do not know why this would not work. Maybe I have a Python expert in the room here who could help me out. I would not be opposed to that. But yes, as I really thought this would copy over. And that is really not working the way I anticipated. Just for the heck of it, we'll say random thing equals random color, whatever. This is a random string. And let's just print random thing. Like, I almost wonder if I'm doing something else to break it at some point. So let that reload. Take that. There's the date. It showed def clock. Random color work. So why would, I set it here. It's fine there. And then later on when I hit that button, I have somehow lost access to DOB, which does not make sense. And let me just make sure I'm not overwriting it anywhere else. I have it there, I have it there, I have it there, I have it there. Yeah, that makes no sense. So just for the heck of it, this doesn't make sense. Equals date time. No, just make it equal to no, nah. I'll make it empty string again. I wonder if it's a, you know what? Let's make it a proper datetime object. All right. And then let's set this in our thing here to control that value. And then finally, let's print. We know random thing is work. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's print this doesn't make sense. And see if that works. Because I wonder if me defaulting it to an empty string is confusing it or something. I don't know. We mess around till we figure it out. And then bam, look, that did it. So let's start over. And you know what? Let's make a note for myself. Hey, Ray, setting DOB to, and then a real value in inner method 1, and using it in 2 didn't work. Figure out later. So that's Python, not Flet. And we will default it to a date object to today. This will update it. And now in theory, everything is going to work. And I am 100% confident this is going to be perfect. Just wait for it. Let's get PowerShell up. There we go. And pick a date. Boom. And yes, it worked. And I picked the date this month. So the number of seconds I picked today, actually. Cool. So we figured that out. That was really weird. So the next thing we need to know is that if I am, 5 seconds old and I'm a man, then, it's so many seconds minus that versus I'm a woman. So let's go ahead and define women women max age as, I think we'll just do 76 years times 365 days times 24 hours times 60 minutes times 60 seconds. And then man max age equals 72 times that. And to be clear, if that does not sound scientific, it is not scientific. So I next need to know what gender I am, and it should be gender dd.value. Let's see, print the gender dd.value. Let's just see what happens. And one thing I mentioned last time is that I want to make this button not work until you have picked a date and a gender. Well, we can do that later. We'll pick 2017. We'll pick male, hit it. And did it work? Yeah, that worked perfectly fine. Great. So, given that we know your gender, we can say if the gender dd.value equals male, then seconds to live equals man max age minus diff. Else, seconds to live equals women. Yeah, I said man, so I'll say woman max age minus diff. All right, so in theory, I could just say that. And by the way, so I'm obviously not handling if you're already dead. That's, part of the cleanup that we got to do at some point. But that should be it. Don't need to print that anymore. And just saving it for the heck of it. Oh, what did I break? What did I break? Not showing anything there. I bet you're working. I saw this with Atari as well. Every now and then I would be just iterating and it would be slow. And look, there it is. All right. So we will pick my actual birth year, and why not my birth month, April 8th. Hit OK. And again, we need to render that so you can actually see it. Show def clock and unsupported operand types for int and date delta. Second, because diff, yep, I messed up my own code here. I have to run total seconds on it. So how about we say diff equals, and then I add total seconds here, total seconds there, save it. Now it's going to work perfectly. I'm just picking June, male, def clock, and boom. Look at that. All right, so obviously we need to make it bigger, and we need to round that down. Honestly, I forgot how to round in Python. Python round integer. I don't care up or down. Yeah, duh, it's round. All right. There's probably a float and a seal as well, but I'm fine with round. Get that. And now make it a thing. And now after we have this, we need to run something every second. So how do we do that? That's a good question. Well, the first thing I'm thinking is that, so calculate DC actually needs to kick off the heartbeat. Do this every second, all right? And that thing needs to get the seconds left to live and then update the logic. So first thing I'm doing is I'm making a new function, time left to live. That's basically going to take this logic that we already had and abstract it out. So we know DOB, etc. Seconds left to live. You know what? Let's round it here. So we're done with it. All right. And now we can return seconds to live. So you need to start a do something every second, get time left to live, and show it in here. So let's see if the Flet docs have a interval type thing built in. Interval for charts, yeah, it's not what we mean. Geolocator. Interaction update. Let's try Google again. So we'll say Python Flet run method on interval. Let's see what it says. To run a method or a function at a specific interval, the recommended approach is to utilize the Flet timer library, which provides a timer component. I am surprised that their search did not bring it up. So timer enums. Yep, they have nothing in here about that. Of course, it looks like it's a third-party tool because you have to install it. This looks pretty easy. Let's see. Let's actually go to the real thing. Yeah, it is a third-party library. All right. And that's exactly what we're doing is a countdown timer. So let's try this. I always kind of hold my breath when I use pip. I love Python. Sometimes struggle with dependency managers. Please don't freak out. Just do it, okay? Thank you for not being too upset. Let's import the timer. So far, so good. Put it up here and save it. And how is it done? You create a timer object and you call a function to run it. Okay. And I wonder if you could kill the timer, because we do need to, like when you change your date, we need to do that. Although, you know what? I'm just not going to worry about that. I'm just going to try this and go into calculate DC. This is really now a kind of like start DC, but that's all right. We will start this. We'll keep the timer, that's fine. And the callback is the function that runs. So actually, you know what this could be for? I could add error handling here. Say ensure DOB and pass and ensure gender picked. I really want to make that button just not hot until this is all done, but we'll keep this here. And we'll kill all this, because now all the button doing is starting the timer, and we will call it DC timer. And come up here and say def DC timer. They don't get past anything automatically, that's fine. So we will say seconds left to live equal time left to live. So we get that right from that function there. And then we will actually, and thinking out loud here, I think the second that you hit this, we want it to run automatically. We also want that visible. So what if we did this, made it visible, and made the value equal to time left to live, update the page, and then kick off the function. That's going to run every time, and this will get the new. I mean, really, it doesn't have to calculate it again. Actually, no premature optimization. That's right. Let's keep it simple. Get the timer again. It should be smaller, and then update the field. We're not making it visible, but we're making it equal to, actually make that even simpler. And I don't think we need to update the page because the UI is visible. But in theory, this will now immediately show the date, show the control, show the date, kick off the timer that we never clean up, but that's all right. And then every second, it will do something. So let's run it. Well, that's not good. Module Flet has no attribute user control. Huh. And that looks to be right when I import it. Well, let's go look at their docs. And it's not been extensively tested. That's fine. Was I supposed to do anything in refresh? Nope, not at all. Oh, I have to add it to the page. Maybe that's the issue. But although I got the error from the import, but let's just, for the heck of it. Let's add it. Page.add timer. I have no idea what that's going to do. And same error. So let's look at their GitHub and see if they have an issue for this. So this is the same docs we saw already. We define, yeah, nothing. I get the error just from importing it. Let's see, one issue. Open can I? Yeah, it hasn't been updated since 2023, which is a bad sign. But you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I am thinking that this was a bad idea. Before I punt on this, I want to be sure. You know, it's lame. I could also do a while loop. I may just say screw it and do a while loop. Let's make sure I'm not using it wrong. So I will get rid of the actual usage. See if it still crashes when it loads. It does. So you know what? I will file a bug report with them when we're done. Hey, file a bug report with Flet timer. And for the heck of it, let's just let's just do a while loop. That seems really lame. I'm just making sure I'm seeing something. How to repeatedly, yeah, how to run a function Python for a specified time interval. That should be not what I want, but yeah, time.sleep. Yeah, we'll do a while loop. I'm not happy with that, but we'll do a while loop. While true, and I mean, in theory, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just do not know. But if we do this, and then if we sleep for 1 second, and I need to import, I think import time, and it should be time.sleep, I believe. And in theory, this will sleep and then calculate it again. Really just needs to get a value. Seconds left to live equals time left to live, or run that method one time. Seconds left to live, and we'll say seconds left to live equals seconds left to live. Left to live minus 1 equals seconds left to live. I always forget if Python has minus minus, but we'll do that. And code is unreachable. Yep, that's right. So we will do that right here, because I believe you only need to do it when you update the controls visibility. All right, I feel really bad about this, but let's see. Let's get rid of that import, because that's dead to me, and let's run it. This is some bad code. Don't do what I'm doing. Let's say 1984, mail, run it, and X seconds left to live. Where did X come from? Oh, because I never set the actual value. Yep. Right. Seconds field? No. Value equals seconds left to live. Seconds field, that value equals seconds left to live. I am... Oh, all right. I didn't think I needed it after I showed it, but let's see if that does it. Yeah, so it worked once. I guess page update, every time you change that value, you need to run that. That seems inefficient, but whatever. And let it reload. You are reloading, right? Yep. All right. Let's see what you're doing. And all right. Pick a date, pick a gender, and look at that. All right. It's probably a little hard to see on the stream, but it is running. Now, of course, my concern is if I were to hit that button again, I worry I'd have like two of those things running at the same time. I'm hitting it multiple times. It's not speeding up. It may be okay, but like my confidence in that code is not not terribly high. And to be fair, like in my original def clock, like you couldn't stop it. You had to like, it was a little pop-up window and you would close it. So there's no real need for a stop. So that could be it. That feels bad. Let's see if we could do some better rendering of that text field. And so for that, we are going to go into not layout, not navigation, information displays, text. There's our text field. There we go. And I see styles. And oh, that looks easy enough. So let's make the size 60. Size equals 60. Let's make the color equal ft dot, that was capital C, colors, and we'll do red because, you know, it's evil, it's def clock, and that should make it nice and huge. Oh, that's much, much better. We also need to make this window as a whole smaller. Like I imagine it more along the lines of this. But in the meantime, let's center this in the row. And if I remember, when you define FT row, there's a way to do centering. So we go into the row control and look at that. It's a lot of code. Can you just show me centering a row? Row right there. Width equals, okay, that makes sense. I want it to be equal to the whole window. So when we add the row control, nope, we're doing this one right here. Width equals page.window.width. All right. And then we want to center it. Horizontal alignments. There we go. Please make this easy. Please make this easy. Alignment equals FT alignment center. That makes sense. Alignment equals FT, excuse me, thank you, code assist, alignment dot center. So again, making it full width of the window and aligning it center should make it perfect. Except it didn't. Width equals page dot window. Oh, I made the control as big as the window, and I centered it, but the field inside is not taking up the full thing. So what if we put that on the field? I'm just kind of guessing here. See what that does. That still did not do it. So now that control's as big. Oh, and I cut it out of the row. So let's put this back in. So now the whole row is as big as that. And oh, you know what? I bet I could have just, I don't know. I'm kind of guessing now towards the end of this. We'll see. Still not quite getting it. So text field is red, has the right size, supposedly is as big as the window. The row itself is aligned. Let's maybe just align this here too. Like I feel like I'm just kind of grasping at straws. And it did not like alignment. Let's see if that's not valid for it. So we will say text align. Yeah, why not? Alignment dot center. And how are you now? Now you look happy. And oh my goodness. Yeah. I really feel like I should not be needing to make the width as big. The width should be just as big as it needs to be, and that the row is full window size and everything is centered. So why the heck then would this not go in the center? So I know like in HTML, I would kind of cheat by like say, setting a background color on the field. Let's see if BG color, there we go. FT colors dot yellow, just kind of make it colors dot yellow, just to make it stick out a little bit. And my thinking here is if we could see. All right, so it definitely, it's as big as it needs to be. It's aligned center, but it's, you know, it's there. So the question is then, why is this row not stretching out? Can we do a BG color on the row? Nope, you can't. Let's see, BG, nope. So this is the row. Can we, I feel like we're doing just something real stupid here. All right, so row horizontal alignment. There's center, which is what we have. So they return a column and container. They're not actually using FT row, which bugs the heck out of me. This is supposed to be showing the row one, not column. Controls. You know, maybe it's the notation I'm using where I'm passing an array. I wonder if I just do, because they show this method as well, controls equal. And for the heck of it, I'll save it, see what that does. Doesn't help. Okay. So let's see one more time. Row horizontal alignment. All right. So they have a method called items, which is just creating stuff, creating some, looks like container items. Oh, these are the numeric things. So I don't think I need to worry about this. But the whole fact that they're using FT column, row with alignment. Yeah, 2 columns, 1, 2. FT row, yeah, I mean, they have row and they have alignment. Let me... Items is returning an array of items. All they have is alignment. Let me get rid of the width. I don't know, just for the heck of it. Yeah, so... And if I don't get this on this try, I am just going to give up. So they too have just an array as the first item. They have the alignment. It's FT alignment center. Oh, main axis alignment. Well, that's what you get, Raymond, for copying and pasting. It's going to be funny if that was it. Save it, run it, boom. Like I said, it's going to be funny. So, all right, we will get rid of the background color. And you know what? I want the size to be even bigger on the text. And let's see what we have as it randomly decides to go slow reloading. Come on. There we go. All right. And show dev clock. Boom. Look at that. And if I actually do my birthday way back in the ancient days of 73, April 8th, okay, show dev clock. And I don't know if that number changed or not, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. And obviously, we need to show the date here so that you know what you picked. But we can do that later. So there we go. And also, surely there's an easy way to specify the height and width. I knew it was in this 2ML file. I'm pretty darn sure somewhere in here. Let's do that. You know, we have like 7 minutes left. Let's do one last thing. Go to Google, Python, Flet, set window width and height. It's got to be in the 2ML. Oh, or there. Okay. That's kind of weird. I thought it would be more like a meta type file, but all right. So we'll go into our source. I'll put it by title. Page dot window underscore width equals 8. Well, now we'll do 600 and page dot height equals 400. Kind of worries me that it's not like recognizing that. But let's see. Close it because I feel like that needs to be done. There, and that did not work at all, which again, not surprising because my code editor did not do that. It didn't show the right highlight. I knew it. Page dot, thank you, AI, for being wrong. Yeah, look at that, beautiful blue lines. I don't expect it to resize immediately, but let's see. Let's see what happens. And you're thinking about it, and you're going to do something. There we go. Look at that. I almost picked perfectly. Yeah, cool. Uh, all right. So obviously, to do, we still need logic before enabling button. Still need def logic, i.e., you're already dead. You are already dead. And 3, show selected date on date picker. Yeah. So that's probably enough for a final version. I like this so much that eventually I'm going to put this on my blog and share it there as well. But that being said, time for big head video format as well. Um, Oopsie daisy. There we go. All right, y'all saw my whole desktop for a second there, I think. Um, Hope you enjoyed that. I know I enjoyed it. I really like Flet. Like even the things I struggled with, like I enjoyed that struggle. If that makes sense. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for participating and all that. Like I said, I do plan on sharing this code. I want to clean it up a little bit, add those last few things, and then just blog about Flet in general. This will be up on my YouTube channel momentarily. I absolutely do have another session planned in 2 weeks. I don't have the subject yet, but that's a problem for me to figure out like 13 days from now. So, anyway, thank y'all very, very much. I appreciate everything. Be safe and be good to each other. Bye bye.